you are watching the video right now, you should fast forward to the part where you should do this problem we're trying, and then fast forward to the part where I go through it. But I'm turning the recorder on now, and it's going to be like 5 minutes of silence, so I don't forget. Thank you for watching. Please hit like and subscribe. Alright, I'm going to show like the top half of mine. Everybody has the problem right now, right? You're like the part you need. So there's my like intro and condition. You want to check? You got some parts. Wait till the end. Big numbers. Just think so. Might want to add. So you said the 10% thing, but like the reason we're doing that is for independence, right? Did you say that?
I mean, I briefly.
Did you say it?
The word independence is in there. It's
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's like a.
Yes, I did. Oh, it's not. It's so no, I think we have like a break between.
Still forgot to show that.
Every time we pass a journey, so no.
Am I going to go through it or not quite yet? Not yet? Okay.
Touch.
Are the Lindemans at like an FFA thing?
Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
She said it was gonna be more. Wait,
She
no,
did?
she's getting an award.
For what? You don't know. Well, that's cool.
It's
Something
like
party.
it's the second highest award you can get like as a
Really?
FFA person.
That's awesome.
What up the first size?
Is he Peter going? I don't know.
They want you to-
She didn't know he was That's a problem. Oh, he's somewhere there. Is Peter going? Oh,
Because you
makes
need it
sense.
for robotics, is that why?
Peter's got an award on Friday, and Peter's presenting it with me.
For robotics?
And Peter hasn't mentioned.
Hopefully, yeah,
Your
hopefully
guys'
you'll be there.
public spokes presenting person is Peter
It is.
What a great idea that is.
Sometimes he's good. Though last year,
Can be
I
if you
did
want.
the
I'm gonna tell all
presentation.
our teams he'll HLC.
Zach Zeller, and he kept talking, and I elbowed him in the middle of the presentation. So I'm not that scared, because Zach just kept talking and talking, and I was like, that's enough, move on. I'm talking, so I kicked him again, and then we moved on.
You beat up Zach.
I did beat up Zach Zeller in the middle of a presentation. We have 7 minutes to present, and he kept going on and on about Caleb, and I'm like, I'm done hearing about Caleb, it is time to move on.
I could see him going on and on. Because he like gets excited and into
Yes,
it.
he
He's
does.
like passionate.
And I was like, that's fine, but we have
He's
7
just talking
minutes.
about romance.
I was like, we have 7 minutes.
But
Next
once he
question.
gets into it, like it's hard to stop.
Like 7 minutes. Next question. Next question.
Yeah.
Come on, come on.
Okay,
Wrap it
let's
up.
go through this. You're checking your own, right? Like I'm not having you come up and check. I'm not checking every detail, but make sure you are checking it thoroughly. Like I have taken what the AP test wants and whittled it down like as thin as I can. So if you're skipping my steps, you're skipping something you need. So make sure you have everything. So I have to define what P is. Then we want to estimate P at a 99% confidence level. That's like my thesis statement. And then I'm identifying what I know, P hat, and the standard deviation. Got my sketch. Yes. You don't need all three of these. You just need one of them. I'm just showing you like 3 different ways to get to it. Where's the start? And then your conditions. So SRS was stated. We got 200 is less than 10% of all Michiganders. And then this you could do 2 ways too. I've got at least 10 success and failures because I know the actual numbers. Or some people are comfortable just sticking with your NP and NQ. So if you do your NP and NQ, those are also both greater than equal to 10 because that gives you 150 and that gives you 85. But you could do it either way. Like if you just want to do NP and Q every time, that's cool. If you want to do success and failures, that's cool. And then what you're doing here, just so you don't skip any of these steps, you're writing the formula in words, then you're writing the formula in symbols, and then you're putting numbers in. And they want to see all 3 of those things. So I think it's tempting to want to skip one of those, but don't. And then you should get that is your point estimate, which we'll get to in a second. This is your margin of error, and then this is your confidence interval. We good there? Do you guys get this? When I was walking around, I saw this one. Okay. So we're 99% confident that B is between this and this. So let's say I'm getting a little out of myself here, but we're gonna get there soon. Let's say they're trying to pass a bill to eliminate daylight savings time, and whoever's opposed to it says you shouldn't do that because less than 50% of people in Michigan want this. So this claim is less than 50% want. Does this confidence interval make you agree with the claim that less than 50% want it, or make you doubt that claim that less than 50% want it? Zach?
No, because I at least view it as the lower end is kind of closer to that 5, and they're trying to go less than.
That's what I would look at. So you look at, is 0.5 in this interval? 0.5 is in this interval. So is it reasonable to say half the people in Michigan want this, based on what we made up here? Yeah, because 0.5 is in that interval. Now, if they wanted to say less than 45% of people want it, could we agree with that? If they say less than 45% of people want daylight savings time, would you agree with that? I would. No, I'm sorry, I said it backwards. If they said greater than 45% of people want it, would you agree with that? Yes. My bad. I screwed you up. Yeah, because all these numbers are above 0.45. Right? Okay. Grab your calculator, because the bad news is you will have to do these 3 response questions and show all your work. The good news is your calculator does this. So, there'll be multiple choice questions where you literally just type it into your calculator and just get the answer. So, I would like to show you how to do that. So grab your calculator. Am I getting louder, or am I waiting for anybody? Alright, hit stat. And then scroll over to tests. And this is basically a list of what we're still going to learn. Right now we're doing a 1 prop Z interval. We have one proportion that we're working with. It's 115 out of 200. We're doing a confidence interval. And we haven't gotten into Z versus T yet, so don't worry about that. But we have a 1 proportion Z interval. So we're scrolling down to A. Everybody there? So then, what you do is X is the number. You're basically putting the fraction in. Like 115 out of 200. X is the number of successes. N is the sample size. So it's like successes over sample. So if you imagine like a fraction bar right there, 115 out of 200 is like what I gave you, right? And then it's at 99%, so I'm going to put 0.99. And then there's that's 0.485 and 0.665. So that's like what we just found. Questions on doing that? So it just tells you like 0.48496.
Is that Richard? It's good.
That's good, you got it. Okay. Alright, I want to practice another one. Just had you guys practice one, so let's say, just to make you do it again. Let's say B hat is 25 out of 40. And we're going to do it 98%. Confidence interval. So I got that. 0.447, 0.803. Good? Questions? Everybody's calculator giving something weird, not working. Everybody's vibing. What's wrong with yours?
X and sea level.
Is that how yours shows up? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh.
Got it straightened out. Any other questions on this? Everybody got this over? We're good? We'll do it more tomorrow, but okay. Now there is this Google Doc is on Schoology. If you wanted to like open it up and make a copy, you could do the work in there. But I want you to try this. This might be hard at first because these are like some new words. But if you look at the top, it might help you out. When you make a confidence interval, it's the point estimate and then plus or minus the margin of error. And I filled out the top row. And I want to see if you can fill in some, all, none, whatever of the blanks in the next 3 rows. 4 rows. Try to fill that out. You might get stuck. Let me know. I'll help you, or wait. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to teach it, but I want you to try it first. I think we can get some of it without me like explaining it to you. It's better for you. So when you have like, let's say it was 0.4 to 0.6. The width is how far it is between the 2 endpoints. So this would be your width. For the first one, yeah.
Well, sorry.
Row 6, the width. This number here in the middle is the average of the 2 endpoints, and that's your point estimate. And then the margin of error is the distance from the point estimate to either endpoint. A little sketch might help. Oh, that's literally the first one you're supposed to do. I just made up 2 numbers. So, like the 0.5 plus or minus 0.1. You got down to the bottom of this. You got 0.5 plus or minus 0.1.
Like you make something.
You just do this plus this times this minus this. That's fine. So then pretend that I already did that multiplication. That's probably like the only stuff I've really shown you. Does that help you? Yeah. So if I found another one. So this is actually like number 6 here. So 0.5 plus or minus 0.1 means I'm going to go 0.1 in each direction, and I'm starting in the middle at 0.5. That would put me from 0.4 to 0.6, so that's my interval notation. Point estimate is your best guess. It's what's right in the middle. And that's always the average of these 2 numbers. The margin of error is the distance from the middle to either one of your endpoints. It's the same distance. And the width is from one endpoint to the other, which is always going to be the margin of error doubled because you have the margin of error twice because you go in both directions. So that would be number 6 there. If you get stuck, I think a sketch is really helpful. I don't think you have to make it, but if you get stuck, I think a sketch is a good starting point. You can see where you're stuck, visualize visualize. So if I were to do 7, make a little sketch, call this number 7. It's row 7. 0.3 to 0.4 is like from one end to the other. So then my point estimate is what's right in the middle of that, which would be 0.35. My margin of error is the distance from the middle to either endpoint, which in this case is 0.05. Yes, because you're adding and subtracting the same amount from that middle number. The width is like all the way across. How far is it from one endpoint to the other? And then this notation is the number in the middle, which is 0.35, plus or minus your margin of error. Or was that like no way? Oh, okay. So it's just the average. Some of this is hard because it's decimals too. People don't decimal very well in general. If it was like 4 plus or minus 1, it'd be easier than 0.4 plus or minus 0.1. Decimals just scramble your brain a little bit. So if I were to sketch number 8, my point estimate is 0.7. And then I go 0.05 in each direction, which would put me at 0.65 and 0.75. My margin of error is the distance that I'm going in each direction. That's my wiggle room. So I think it's 0.7, but I'm giving myself some room for error. Oh, we already knew that, didn't we? Thank you. The width is all the way across. That's 0.1. And then this would be the middle, your average, which is 0.7, plus or minus how far you went in each direction. All right, for 8. So 9. I'm going to sketch it. To show, you don't have to sketch. If you get stuck, I think it's a great idea, but I don't know if you need to. It's kind of up to you. So my point estimate is 0.2. That's the middle. I know the width is 0.1, so all the way across is 0.1, which means this must be 0.05 and this must be 0.05 because it's like half, which makes this 0.2 minus 0.05. 15, and this would be 0.25. So I have 0.2 plus or minus 0.05, going from 0.15 to 0.25. My margin of error is half of the width, is the distance that you give yourself on each side. That's 0.05. So I was actually right. Questions on that anywhere? This is like new terminology, new ways of framing it. There's just different ways to write the comments. We'll talk about it, vocabulary wise. Anything I can go through up there? Where'd you get this? Why'd you do this? Okay, so I got like 3 more rows underneath this. I will unhide those, and I want you to try again. If you get stuck, make a sketch. If you don't get stuck, I don't know if there's a need for a sketch. That's up to you. Show you those and hide those. Ready to go. So one person grabbed a marker last hour and started doing like that. And then like 6 other people followed. No one grabbed one in here, and no one.
No, that's not it.
Yeah, it's up to you. Okay.
I didn't know.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, you get it. So on your next quiz, there will for sure be a free response. We have to do like the whole process, and there will for sure be a table. Thing, I'm just saying, those 2 things will be out there for sure. So there's the first one. You got a question on the first one, let me know. Oh, there's another one. Some period at the end of it.
No, it's popular. It's popular.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
That's I had a fun. I've never really heard of it. It's not that you know. Took a lot.
Yeah.
Can't possibly expect me to listen to that. When we played Deal or No Deal, she was sweet. Were you in the class that
No, but I heard.
Packard was like, got mad because there's such a ruckus up there with Molly screaming. That was you were there? Yeah. He had a student come up and tell me he was giving a test, and then he was upset with me.
No,
That was unprofessional and all this stuff. And I felt like kind of bad for a minute. But he was just kidding.
You're like an
Yeah.
upstairs.
He had like a bowling ball, just like drop on the floor over and over
I feel like
again.
communicate with him for stuff.
Yeah.
He's
It's like,
like a
how does he
pro.
get his stuff?
Yeah. But that's a really tall.
That's a
broom.
tall.
He needs
A
yeah,
ladder
extra
and a
long broom and a ladder.
That too. A step stool. Really long broom.
starting at 3:45.
Am I good to go through or not yet? Oh, I'm still right now. Wait a minute.
Wedge.
If we leave the game like for the first one,
Yes.
we'll get there.
11.55.
Oh god, something. It's like I was supposed to. I didn't see what went over.
Yeah, it was just 80.
I got two. They're like that.
2 weeks? On the 22nd. No, that's his mom's birthday.
What kind of test? Like a written about or
It was like
blood
I
test?
I had to do like IQ testing, memory test, attention span test. She said I did really bad on that.
Attention span?
It was 15 minutes long. And every time you heard the number 1, it would click. And I had headphones, and then it would flash on the screen. But that's all it was for 15 minutes. So I
That
was,
sounds horrible.
she said after about 4 minutes, I was very not accurate.
No, I think
She said when I heard it, I was good, but watching it, like I quit watching it. And she's like, you have to pay attention. Like this is so boring.
I would make
I'm pretty sure.
mad, and she's like, it doesn't matter. And I was like, I keep getting them wrong. Because in the practice round, it would say oops when you got it wrong, so I kept getting it wrong.
Oh,
But it
hate
didn't
when things say
actually do
oops.
that in the testing, so I kept doing it.
That's so
Trying for it
weird.
to say oops, and it didn't. It won't do it. I was like, oh, okay. And then I kept getting them wrong because it was 15 minutes. She's like, I'm so sorry. It's so boring. And 3 hours of testing 2 days ago.
For ADHD.
Yes.
Is that like anti?
Yeah, that's like the. I feel
That's like torture
now.
for that person.
Yeah.
Yeah, for literally anyone, I feel like that's just
Like I had to do like
for
pattern
me.
stuff, and I kept getting so
No, I
mad.
actually did it. I feel like I have to win.
Okay,
It's like, why not anger issues?
so I'll sketch this one out, but then I won't sketch any others unless you ask me to, because you probably get sick of me sketching. Point 6 is in the middle. This means we add and subtract point 2. So that would put us over here at point 8 and over here at point 4. So the amount that we added or subtracted is the margin of error. 2. The number that we started with, which is like your p hat, is your point estimate. That's right in the middle. The interval notation is going from one endpoint to the other. And then the width is how far is it from one endpoint to the other. So the width will always be double the margin of error because you have a margin of error here and another one here, so you have 2 of them. Yeah, questions on that one anywhere? So if I just fill out the rest, this would be 0.4 plus or minus 0.05, 0.35 through 0.45, 0.05. This will be 0.4 plus or minus 0.1, 0.3 to 0.5, and then the width is 0.2. Questions out there anywhere? Okay, that's all I got today. We'll practice more tomorrow and keep going. He's not going to be here tomorrow because